Hey guys, this is Jason
This
Douglas.
is Adam MacArthur, voice of Yuji Itadori.
This is Derek Snow, the voice of Shinra Kusakabe.
This is Phil Parsons, voice of Kenny the Ripper Ackerman.
It's Merc Nguyen. You're watching Voice of the Heroes. Take it away, Fleeboy.
What's good, everybody? You already know who it is and what it is. And if you don't, it's the one and only one, Fleeboy Jetson. And you're watching Voice of the Heroes podcast. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming discussions or interviews with your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today we got a very special guest. He is a living legend. I'm talking about the face and voice of Digimon as Tai. He's also provided his talents in so many great shows, movies, and games like Speed Racer X, Cowboy Bebop, Transformers, Robots in Disguise, Cyborg, 009, Wolf's Rain, Duel Masters, multiple anime shows, movies, including Akira. That's right, man. We got an author, entrepreneur, voice actor. He's a jack of all trades, a human Swiss Army knife. Let's welcome Joshua Seth to the show.
Wow, what an intro. Thanks, man.
Hey, welcome, man. I'm so hyped for this show. I mean, this episode, for those who don't know, man, they know I'm a huge Akira fan and also Digimon. So, hey, I get best of both.
Those are my two favorite roles that I voiced.
So let's talk about them, though. Let's get right into it. So we're talking about one of the greatest anime movies of all time in Akira. You play the character Tetsuo in this adaptation, well, dubbed version, and man, was it one of the best dubbed versions we gotten as far as when the anime scene came to the Western side of things, because it was one of the first. So how did you get involved in it, and how was that whole experience for you?
That's a great question to start off with, because Akira is the reason I became a voice actor in the first place. So I'm going to take you way back to when I was in college. It's hot and muggy in New York City. I went to NYU. I was in film school there, and I had a radio show. WNYU, New York City, 50,000
Hey,
watts.
shout out New York.
So my dad was a psychologist. He was a radio psychologist, sort of like Frasier. So when I hit the big city, I came from a small town in Ohio. Everything was unfamiliar in New York, except for the radio station. So that's why I kind of had a radio program going on already, that show. But now it's hot. My air conditioner's not working in my apartment. I go out just looking for a place to get some air conditioning, some relief. That's really all I was doing. And I wanted to buy this art house movie theater that was playing Akira. It was the original theatrical release. I saw the cool poster with the motorcycle and everything, and I thought, well, this looks interesting, but I had no idea what it was. And I went in, and by the time I came out, my mind was blown, and I realized, because this is like the first anime for American audiences. I mean, setting aside something like Speed Racer or whatever, but like it was the first time American audiences had a chance to see animation done in such an artful way and for adults, with that sort of cyberpunk sort of style. It was reminiscent of what movies would have been out at the time, like Blade Runner, right? There'd never been animation that was for adults and with that sort of a vibe. Anyway, when I saw it, I realized, well, this is going to change animation in America, and I want to be a part of it. So I hatched this plan to go back to the radio station and use that to create a demo, which I then used to get an agent in Hollywood. And within a week of graduating, moved out to LA, and then short 7 years later, I went through some things in order to become known as a voice actor. But about 7 years after that, I was already known for voicing Tai in Digimon there. And then I got the call from the director of Akira asking me to play Tetsuo. That the producers in Japan had specifically requested me for Tetsuo and Johnny Young Bosch for Kaneda. And then the whole career came full circle.
Hey, man, that is fantastic. And just having a co-star at Johnny Young Bosch and being where y'all at now today is amazing. Did you know at the time that not only Digimon, but Akira would be such global phenomenons in this culture?
Yeah, I knew Akira would be. I mean, that's that's what's really gonna last. Lots of shows make a quick pop in the culture, in the popular culture. That's why they call it pop, right? But then it fizzles and disappears a couple years later. Nobody's watching it or remembering it. Not so with Akira. I mean, in fact, I was interviewed recently for a making of Akira documentary that'll be coming out hopefully later this year or next year, where they're going in depth on the art and artistry behind it, the voice acting, the scripting, and how they created new colors and how it's influenced so many other movies and shows, everything from the Wachowskis asking the cast and crew to watch Akira before they began filming because that's the vibe they were going for, to South Park doing an episode taking off on it, to more recently Nope doing their version of the motorcycle slide. So yeah, Akira's not going away. Digimon, we didn't necessarily know when we were first recording it how big it would be, or that it would have legs 25 years later, or that it'd still be voicing Tai 25 years later, of course. Not until the movie came out. When Digimon the movie came out, then it was obvious that it was a big hit.
Yeah, Digimon, man, mind blowing how good that became and how developed your character was in that. Phenomenal. Now, so many anime shows and films have been getting live action adaptations and turned into films. Do you think Akira would have success if it was became a live action in today's culture?
I hear that rumor for years and years. Like currently, supposedly, Leonardo DiCaprio is attached to the project in some capacity, and Warner Brothers, I believe, has the rights. But I'll believe it when I see it. Like these projects and adaptations start and stop, and ownership transfers, and people get attached and then leave the project. It's been going on literally for more years than I can count. Now that said, I can't think of a single adaptation other than The Last of Us that's really worked. That one worked.
Hey, I agree because I kind of like the One Piece show that they did on Netflix, but for the most part, like it's really been hard for animes and video games to get well done
Hmm.
adaptations. But um your character Ty has such development, growth, and character development within his arc in Digimon. The
Yeah.
movie came out, right? I think the last evolution, right, of
Yeah,
Kazuma.
Last Evolution Kazuna that came out in
Kasuna,
2020.
yeah.
Yeah.
That one, man, what a emotionally disaster
Right?
for lifetime fans, man. And for you, was that voice version of Ty being older, more worn down, and facing a goodbye? How was that for you, spiritually, mentally, being attached with
I
such a
wouldn't think of
character
him as
like that?
worn down, but more introspective and considering the consequences of his actions. And it's one of those pivotal moments in life, when you leave childhood things behind and accept that you have to grow up and go out into the world and make your way on your own. And that's really what that movie, Last Evolution Kazuna, was about. It was a wonderful ending to the character arc and the story arc for 25 years of Digimon, or 20 years of Digimon at that point. I don't think it'll be the last movie, but I think it's the last in the sequence, in the timeline. And everybody that comes up to me at Comic-Con signings that has seen that movie says they cried, but that it was sort of a cathartic cry, right? So I think we did our jobs there.
Hey, and you did a phenomenal job in that, might I add. And you're right. I think we're in the arc of the 28th anniversary of Digimon right about now. And I'm pretty sure they got something in the works for it. They actually do have a new video game coming out. Is it possible we might see Ty in that?
I don't know because the way those contracts work, they
Oh, I
just
respect it. I
they
respect it.
take no, I'm going to go somewhere different than you think. It's not an NDA. It's the opposite. An NDA would mean I'm working on it. What they do in anime is they sign us to these contracts that say they can repurpose the lines that we've recorded. They can reuse them in any format. So they'll literally just take lines that I would have done for a movie or a series and pop them into the video game, and I'll never even know. I won't get a check. I won't get a thank you. Nothing, unless fans tell me on social media that they heard me in something. And that's not just for Digimon, that's pretty much across the board for anime. And it's the main reason. Well, it's the main reason that I left Los Angeles and I left voice acting, was because of my, not even, I was going to say dispute, but then I'd have to have somebody disputing it with me. My feeling that the studios are ripping off the actors by not giving us residuals and signing us to these kinds of contracts. So years ago, around 2007, 2008, maybe 2007, I left LA and I went on tour with my live show. I do a mind magic show. I'm a mentalist, and except for Digimon and some projects that I record remotely from my home studio, which is right next door there. I left that behind, but I never left Digimon behind because, like, that's as you can tell, Tai is basically my own voice and my own personality, so I feel very connected to that character.
I was actually gonna ask you about that. You leaving voice acting, and doing 2,000 shows, over 2,000 shows in over
Yeah.
40
Live shows.
different countries, things like that. How was that journey for you, and what made you decide to come back to voice acting?
What made me decide to come back is sort of a handshake deal with the producer of Digimon in 2015 when they were going to start recording the Digimon Tri movies. They were going to recast Tai, and I heard about this from Jeff Nimoy, who was the director of the movie, of the original Digimon the movie. And I reached out to the producer, and I'm like, hey, I moved, but I'm not dead. Just because I don't live in LA doesn't mean I can't hop on a plane. So he gave me a call and said, well, if you're willing to come back and you promise to always voice Tai for all the projects to keep it consistent, and then I pay for my own flights and everything to LA, as long as I do all that, they'll keep the role open for me. So that's worked out great. I'm very happy that I had that opportunity. And then during the pandemic, everything switched from in-person recordings to remote home studios. So toward the end of the pandemic, I built my own studio because I was asked to do, I think it was Prince of Tennis actually was the show. And then of course I've done the new Digimon the movies. I recorded that at home, and I'm working on a video game, and my daughter Nikita Seth has been recording commercials and series. She's actually working more than me. She's 12. So hopefully
That
we'll
is
see her
phenomenal.
more in the future as well. Yeah.
I love that for your family, man, and for yourself, man. How has that been as a father to watch her transition like that and do what you do for a living?
Absolutely amazing. I'm not easy on her in the booth either, because I'm directing the sessions generally, and I direct like a normal director would direct an adult. And I've told her, like, you can't be too precious about your reads. You can't have one interpretation in your head and stick to it, because you don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, right? The actor only knows the pieces that they are putting down when they're laying down the tracks. The director is the one that has the overall picture, and so you have to rely on the director's direction for interpretation. And so I do that with her, and she's been voicing stuff since she was about 10, so she's a couple years into it now. She's got an agent out in LA. She's really killing it, and the credit I'll give myself is that I was hard on her from the beginning. I'm not, I'm an older dad.
That's right.
I come from this generation where they give participation trophies, or they, just it's, how can I explain this? I'm Gen X, right? We were self-starters. It's so common to hear, well, we drank hose water and we bike rode on our own until the lights came on. However, it's completely true, right? We were used to doing things on our own and making our own way. So I sort of parent the same way. Like, you've got to figure this out and be self-reliant, and at the same time realize that it's a creativity tends to be better as a collaborative endeavor. So it's two things at once. It's like she has to be responsible to be on point when she's in the booth, and not worry about, well, I'm tired, or I'm stressed, or I have some drama with my girlfriends at school, or it's middle school, right? There's all, I'd rather do my whatever hobby she's into, play my electric guitar or whatever. No, like, that's on you. You have to be 100% when you're called upon to be in the booth. And at the same time, you have to trust the director. And then I'm not going to be nice about it and say, well, that was great, but wrong. No, I'm like, okay, let's do it again. You got to pick up the pace. And did you notice that note where it said sarcastic? You were being joyful or gleeful. So let's hit it again. Do it right. Bam. And then she does it. And then that's the thing I'm most proud of, is that she responds to the direction like an adult would. not like she's a kid.
Hey, man, and she's gonna love and respect you so much for that when she gets older and she masters this craft. Now, I
Yeah,
do want
or
to
whatever,
pivot.
because it's transferable, right? These skills, the presentation skills, communication skills, being able to emote and connect with people, like that doesn't stop when you're outside of the recording booth. That's very transferable to every relationship you have in life.
True indeed. Now, I definitely want to talk about your book, Finding Focus and Changing World. Tell us about your book and what inspired you to write it.
What inspired me to write it was that my kids, when they were little, Tiger's I got to give a shout out to my son Tiger Seth too. He's a couple years older. He's 14. He's an electronic musician, and you can stream his music now on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Apple, whatever.
Oh, that's
So
amazing. Matter of fact, we'll
yeah,
put those links in the description. Y'all make
please
sure
do.
y'all
Yeah, Tiger
support and
Seth.
check out.
So, so he doesn't have the acting bug. He doesn't really care to do voiceovers or anything like that. He's got a different personality and a different skill set. He's actually going into a special high school in the fall here, where he'll spend half the day doing electronic music production and music theory, and he wants to be a music producer, which to me is weird because I'd want to be the person for whom the work is being produced, right? I want to be the one on the mic or on stage or whatever. But kids come out with their own personalities, I have found. So both my kids came out sort of the way they are now, just without the vocabulary to be able to express those personalities, but they've definitely been the same people from the beginning. And I'm a very hands-on dad, and I've noticed these things about them from the beginning. But what I also noticed was that my productivity and my career advancement were destroyed when they were babies and toddlers. Like, I was getting nothing done. And so, to your question about why did I write a book on focus, because I realized that's the superpower that allows us to accomplish anything in life. And when we master our focus and can direct it, in toward the ends that we desire, whether that's something creative or work related or in a conversation, in a relationship, what have you, like that's the main fundamental skill, which if you can master that, you can get things done even when you have two screaming needy toddlers crawling around your kneecaps. So that's why I wrote that
I know
book.
the feeling.
Yeah,
I know
I
the
wrote it.
feeling.
I wrote it for them too because I fly around so much. I'm on airplanes a couple of times a week at least. I figure one day, I'll be in a lost situation like that series, and it'll just go down, and I better leave my instruction guide to life behind for them. So that's basically my strategies for success, beginning and ending with that focus concept. And then I ended up keynote speaking on it, first in the college circuit, and then for corporate leaders, so they can level up their game, basically become high performers.
Hey, man, I love that answer. And I love just your thought process and putting all that together because I have kids of my own. And as of this interview, I
Hmm.
had the reason why I had my mic muted is because my daughter, 6 years old, she's screaming, Daddy. And I had to
Right?
cover my
You
mouth
can't
like,
get
baby, I'm
anything done for a
working.
few years there. Yeah, that's
The-
that's why I sat down. Took me 100 days. I knew exactly what the topics were, and I wrote one topic every morning for 100 days. That was exactly 10 years ago. So my daughter would have
oh,
been 2, and my son would have been 4. So not that far off from where you are right now.
man, amazing. So now we don't got too much time with Joshua chat, so we're gonna try to speed through this interview. We're gonna come towards a great segment. I love it's a fun segment where we ask you a couple fun questions,
All
and
right.
then we're gonna get into my universal questions where I ask all of my guests.
Mhm.
And the first question for you is, if you could spend a day with any one of your characters you voice, who would it be and why?
Well, it would definitely be Tai because he's a hero. He's a leader. He represents courage and everything good and aspirational. And at the same time, he's humble and admits that he can make mistakes, but he's a good friend. I mean, what great qualities! If that were a human being, I would want him as a friend. That's why I feel so lucky not only to voice him but to represent that type of character for so many people. That was an easy one.
Let's get it. Okay, this is
Yeah.
this is gonna be one that you might have not even told anybody. Did you ever use Ty's voice to order food or just for fun?
Oh, totally. Yeah, not not to order food necessarily, Yeah, because it's not far off from this anyway. I'm always saying bye-bye to people that don't even know I'm a voice actor, and it probably doesn't make any sense, but it just kind of makes me laugh. Yeah, definitely, all the time. Plus, this is my voice, and this is Ty's voice, so it's just a little bit more rasp and a little bit higher than the way that I sound normally.
Yeah, I can't. My God, now that you put it like that, you're exactly right. There's no
Yeah.
difference.
It's my normal life energy in that character. Yeah,
Hey,
it
I
was just a
love
perfect
that.
fit. You're just so lucky as an actor when you just find a perfect fit like that.
All right, now I did getting prepared for this interview. I did go through your IMDb to see if there was
All right.
anything that I didn't know, right? And
Mm.
I seen, mind you, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. Like
Oh
it was
yeah.
part of my childhood. Like you couldn't tell me I wasn't the Green Ranger jumping off of couches. I tell everybody that, right? But
Yeah.
I seen in your IMDb that you voiced Alpha 5 or you was uncredited for something in Power Rangers Turbo. I was wondering if you could
Turbo.
shine some
Yeah.
light on that.
All right. Well, first, I always have to give props to Richard Horowitz for being the original English VA for Alpha 5. Aye, aye, aye. Right? So he did that for many years from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on up until Turbo. Then he left. I always thought until recently he left because he became Zim in Invader Zim. And where we would record Power Rangers was in their studio where they would record the live action stuff. They actually recorded the voice actors up there. And it was like an hour north of Los Angeles in Valencia. So it was quite a drive. So if you were like doing other projects in, say, West LA, now it's like could be 2 hours with traffic. I could see somebody giving up a role way out there like that for something really big, original animation like Zim. That's what I always thought he did, and then I came in and was asked to voice match him for Turbo on Alpha 5 because I was already working with the production company Saban on several other series, things that nobody's ever heard of, like Honeybee Hutch, where I played the main character. I play Honeybee Hutch, Honeybee Hutch. Like that, 65 episodes. It's how I basically learned to dub, and a couple other series as well. Uh, but then they asked me to go up there to voice Alpha 5, voice match Richard. I did it. It was only like 3 episodes on Turbo, but it was instrumental to everything else that came later in my career because everybody was physically there. So I got to physically meet all the powers that be at Saban instead of my just being in a recording studio with an audio engineer somewhere an hour or so away, and then they send the file in. Nobody ever knows who I am, never gets to meet me. Instead, with Power Rangers, it was different. I got to meet everybody: Chaim Saban and Eric Rollman and Scott Page Pagter and like all the higher ups that at the time were also working on launching a new network called Fox Kids. So Fox Kids came right after that, and that is how I got the audition for Tai and ended up booking the role because they knew they could. For a lead character like that, it's not just a matter of sounding right. They got to know you're reliable and that they would enjoy working with you face to face for, in this case, years. So I'm convinced that's why I was able to book the role of Tai on Digimon, because I did that one season on Power Rangers. But as it turns out, I was signing at a Comic-Con last year with Richard. He was there too, and in the green room, I talked to him about that, and he said no, he actually left because of a contract dispute, because they wanted to pay him less money and he wanted more because Power Rangers was already a hit. And that harkens back to my comment earlier as to why I left Hollywood and voiceovers, because the contracts favor the producers and really take advantage of the actors. Well, in anime, anyway, original animation is different. So it worked out for me, though.
Yes, it did. All right, my last
That's
fun
how.
question before I get into the universal questions. This one is a funny one. All right, so dub the sentence in 3 different voices or 2.
Mhm.
I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Okay, I did.
I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Okay, I did. I don't know which character that was. It was just the first one that came out. Maybe that's kind of like Motimon up here that I also. Motimon, no, Motimon said, I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Okay, maybe I did. That's number 2. And then I'll do it as Tai. I didn't eat the last slice of pizza. Okay. Maybe I did.
I love it, man. That brings such joy to me. And one of the reasons I do what I do, because I love when y'all get into character like that and see that transformation, man. I truly believe that is a God-given talent. All right, now let's get into the universal question because I really don't got too much time left with you. This is called recommendations. Throughout your whole body of work, there's only so much we could talk about, but
Yeah.
there's always projects that sometimes the actor feels like, hey, I wish this would have got a little more shine. I wish people would have checked that out or checked this character out
Ooh, this is a good question.
I did.
Yeah. What would they be?
What recommendation? And mind you, we're doing a giveaway for this too. So heroes, just to keep in mind, we're giving away David Forsyth signed autograph of Soul the Bad Guy from Guilty Gear. If you are gonna go check this out, if you're gonna go check this recommendation out, leave a comment on the recommendation, and I'm gonna go through the comments and I'm gonna pick a winner once we hit 5K.
But I gotta give 2 recommendations.
Oh, let's go. We get
I gotta give 2. So
We're
they have
gonna
2
get
options.
2.
All right.
So let's go.
Number 1 recommendation is where we came in on this interview is Akira. You would not believe how many people come up to me at Comic-Cons again wanting an autograph on Akira because of the meme. Leave me alone. And then before I give it to them, I'm like, but have you seen the movie? And more than half the time, they have not seen the movie. They know the motorcycle slide. They know the viral meme. They have not seen the movie. Guys, Akira.
Check it out.
It's on Hulu. It's been on Hulu for years. It's free. You can watch it right now. It's the #1 anime movie of all time on all the major critics lists. It's the reason that anime broke through to American audiences. You like Demon Slayer, you like, any of these more kind of adult themed anime that exists today, they wouldn't exist without Akira. So you gotta watch it. You can't call yourself an otaku if you haven't actually watched Akira. And then my second
let me ask you a question before you give the second recommendation about Akira, right? Because one of the last lines of the movie, he states his name, right? Do you feel like he transcended as like God in that
I've
scene?
heard
Is that
that
what they
theory.
alluded to?
You know what? This box here has all the manga in it.
Oh, I haven't read none of them.
I haven't read it either because I haven't wanted to open the box. One of these days I'm going to do that and read through it. I'm just always so busy with different projects and things because I don't think I can really answer that question without reading what was written here because there's so much more to the story than what was in the movie, which is why the movie can be a little confusing. On the other hand, the type of movie it is, the type of storytelling it is, I think they obviously want it left up to the viewer to interpret. They don't want to just spoon feed you all the answers, which that can be the best kind of storytelling anyway. Art is in the eye of the beholder. The interpretation is in your own mind, and it's up to you.
All right, so give us the second recommendation.
Second recommendation is a little show I did called Wolf's Rain. Now, Wolf's Rain is real high quality anime, great storytelling, amazing directing from Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and a stellar voice cast. I voiced Hige in it. Johnny Young Bosch was in it. Crispin Freeman was in it. The whole cast, was just amazing. The people that have seen that series love it so much. They get tattoos. They do artwork. Like they're really, it's really meaningful, and it's kind of a Shakespearean quality tragedy in the way that the story evolves. And Wolf's Rain is now much easier for people to access because as of last year, it started streaming on Crunchyroll. So if you got Crunchyroll, you can see that and hear me as Hige.
Yeah, that's a good one. Make sure y'all check that out. And it got my goat in it, man. Johnny Young Bosch. That's one of my favorite voice actors of all time. And he's the Black Ranger, man. The Green Ranger. Like, come on. Why wouldn't y'all want to check that out? All right. Now, the next question is you can go to the books, comics, mangas, manhwas, wherever you want. Give me your top 5 fictional characters of all time.
From anything?
Anything. You can go anywhere, anything.
Holden Caulfield.
Hold on. What did you say? What was the first one?
The character of Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye.
All right.
Right? Like sort of define the teenager in literature the way that James Dean defined the teenager in movies in Rebel Without a Cause. That would be the first one that comes to mind. Siddhartha, the character of Siddhartha, which is a fictional character but represents the Buddha. That's a book by Hermann Hesse. I read that in college. That's always stuck with me. In movies, Neo in The Matrix. That's a favorite of mine. I don't really play video games. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Best audiobook I ever read was or listened to was The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand.
Ooh.
So what would be the fictional character? I guess, I mean, the evil one in there is Randall Flagg, as a portrait of evil, I suppose. Yeah, it's a great book, an amazing audiobook. If anybody out there is like wants a recommendation on an audiobook, The Stand, that's the one. And the other best audiobook series I've ever heard was Andy Serkis, the voice of Gollum. So I'll use Gollum as my final character. Andy Serkis
He's so good.
The best audiobook narrator I've ever heard. He did The Hobbit and all the Lord of the Rings characters in all of those audiobooks. Like I could close my eyes and think that I'm hearing the soundtrack to the movie, but he's doing all the voices, but he's doing all the accents, and he's doing the voices in the manner of speech that the actors did in the movie. So it sounds like those actors, but it's all Andy Serkis. So freaking amazing. Just that's a level of talent far beyond anything I can aspire to.
Yeah, I definitely would put him. Yeah, I would definitely put him up there because a lot of people don't think of Andy Serkis as a voice actor, but my God, he
is.
has some chops when it comes to that. And
because acting is voice acting.
That's what people don't get. And I tell people that all the time. Without that experience, without theater, without,
right.
classes.
My background's in theater. Yeah.
Yeah,
and most OG voice actors from the dawn of anime, like those of us that came up in the 90s and early 2000s, almost all of us that I know of have a background either in music, like singing and vocals, or theater, and usually musical theater, which is how we know how to use our voices. So yeah, voice acting is acting, and if you have an interesting sounding voice or can do interesting voices, it won't matter if you don't know how to actually act, because that only sustains the listener's interest for so long unless you know how to use it to bring those lines and those characters to life.
That's a fact. So just because you can do a really good Mickey Mouse impression doesn't mean you can bring those emotions out. But let's get it to our last question. This one is basically to show some love to your peers, or to give them some flowers. What is your Mount Rushmore of voice actors? You get 4 choices, and it could be your peers, people who inspired you. You only get 4 though.
Right. That's a great question. Let me think. Well, Dawes Butler, Mel Blanc.
Hey, the man of 1,000 voices. I like.
Right. I mean, everybody probably has those two. I'm now going to add Andy Serkis that I just said for the reasons that I just indicated. And so the 4th, man. Oh man, 4th for the voice. Who really inspired me?
He's like, man, I got to go to Comic-Cons and see these guys.
Because there's now at that level, there's so many. Like Charlie Adler was really inspiring to me, voice of Cow and Chicken. He was like one of the first voice actors I ever met in LA. I could say him, but who was the voice of Winnie the Pooh and
Jim Cummings?
Jim Cummings, man. Jim Cummings is. I might have to just say Jim Cummings. Like I met him at a Comic-Con recently, and I told him when I was first starting out, I would put a VHS, like a video cassette tape, like VHS cassettes before you even had TiVo, which was before streaming, like before you had to work so hard to find out who the voice actors were, right? So I would record all the Saturday morning cartoons, and then I'd pause on the credits, and all the ones I liked were voiced by Jim Cummings, and then I would write down who's the casting director. I'd find out who's the agent. You didn't have Google on the internet back then. It was really hard to figure this stuff out, but he was the name that kept popping up as being like so talented and omnipresent at that time. So all right, so I'll put Jim Cummings as
Hey, I love that list. So now we come to the end of the interview. Joshua, man, thank you so much for taking your time out with us, man. Heroes, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely got the Nintendo Switch 2 giveaway happening. We got the David Forsyth giveaway happening. All you got to do is just support the channel and become a member, things like that. Now, before we let you go, let people know where to follow you at to keep up with updates, role announcements, and things like that.
That sort of thing. Instagram or TikTok, Joshua.Seth on Instagram. It's probably just Joshua Seth on TikTok, but I'm not entirely sure. That's where my biggest following is. I'm trying to not use Twitter so much anymore. And Facebook's just confusing. So find me those two places. You know, if you're interested in anything else that I do, the live stage shows, Mind Magic Mentalism shows, you go to joshuaseth.com. Or if you work for an organization that brings in entertainers or speakers or anything, you know, the website's good for that too. Then if you hook me up with a gig like that, free autograph when I see you at the event.
Hey, man, I'm going to lock in. All links also will be provided for you in the description below. Please support by like, comment. And before we let you go, do you have any upcoming conventions or projects that you're able to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at these Comic-Cons in the summer pretty much every weekend. I just got back from Fan Expo.
Oh, matter of fact, you're coming to my city soon. I just seen you announce Tulsa. You're coming to Tulsa.
I am coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I'm going to see you. I swear I'm going to see you. The 9th and the 10th.
This weekend, I'm in Lansing, Michigan at Cap City Comic-Con. But again, just go to my Instagram if you really want to see all those announcements, because that's where it's easiest to find them. Yeah, I'm at Comic-Cons all over the place. It's very hard to keep up, but it's great. I have great agents at Celebworks, and I've been booked on about 20 Comic-Cons a year for the few years since I've been doing them. I've only been really doing them post-pandemic here, and it's been great. It's been really great to meet all the people and hear your stories and how much the work has meant to you. It's not something that you would get otherwise as a voice actor, because we record in literal isolation. So it's pretty special to meet everybody at these conventions.
Hey, well, thank you once again for coming by. Thank you for your years of work, all the times you made us smile, cry, etc. Man, this show is for you as much as it is for us. And heroes, like always, don't forget to love yourself, pass that love on, and love others. And if nobody told you so, just know your boy love you. Voice of the Heroes signing out.
Bye-bye.
Sing it with me.